Hello, hello, everybody. Welcome to week 4. You've almost made it. Last week, best week. Week 4. This is really where you should start feeling kind of the fruits of your labor, right? You should be feeling less inflamed, maybe sleeping a little better, maybe lost a couple pounds, maybe hormone balancing. So, you're just feeling smooth, energized, relaxed during your days, less cravings, less craving for sugar, more satiated, can go longer between meals. All of the benefits should be starting to come through at this point. You should be definitely more metabolically flexible. So just know you're doing amazing things for your longevity, for your long-term health, avoiding chronic disease. So let's keep at this. This is a lifestyle program. It's not meant to be a one-off or fad diet. It's meant to be, all of these things are supposed to be incorporated into your daily routines. And yes, most people aren't perfect. I know I am not, but keep coming back to it time and time again. And I promise you, the long-term results will be well worth it. You won't really even miss a lot of your bad habits. I truly don't miss my former days of sugar cravings and gluten binging and all of that stuff. I really just don't. I can, satisfy all of that with much healthier kind of solutions that may leave me feeling much better long-term. So week 4, on to sleep week. So let me share my screen with you and we can jump right in. So getting into the last presentation. I hope you've enjoyed these. These do, I know they're longer, but I do hope you do get a chance to watch them and make them part of your routine to get into the whole week. So view slideshow, sleep week. Here we go. So this is the week where we all just get to lay down and take a nap for a week. Wouldn't that be lovely? I am not a napper, never have been. But as some of you may know, I am a former insomniac, 35 years easy, maybe even longer of insomnia. Never sleeping. Even as a kid, my mom said I was a terrible sleeper, had terrible sleep hygiene, terrible habits, refused to go to sleep, was even scared of sleep. I wrote about it in an article I linked to a while back. But sleep, was my nemesis for so many years, and truly in the last almost 10 years, I have fixed that, and it is now one of my favorite things is sleeping. It's crazy. As you all know, I have my Aura ring and I get my daily sleep score, and I'm usually in the 90s. I like rock sleep. It's amazing. My husband laughs because he knew me in the days when I never slept. There were days with my autoimmune journey, actually a full month where I slept only about 2 hours a night, and it was torture. I was coming off a medication that was horrific. Kind of felt like I was going crazy, but truly have fixed it. And now I am so protective of my sleep. I know my friends think I'm pretty much a loser a lot of the times. I'm one of those people that plays Houdini, and like after between 10 and 12, I will just disappear from a party, and all of my friends are late night people. So it's just how it is, and they know me and we can kind of laugh about it. But I love my sleep. I love feeling refreshed when I wake up. I never get tired, and that's probably why I'm not a napper, because I don't really get tired during the day. So that's enough about me. If you want to read about my insomnia journey, I do link to that, I think, in the email. But I wanted to talk a little bit first about the sleep energy connection, since we're talking energy. So, 1 in 3 adults don't get enough sleep. 40% said they're kind of tired on a regular basis. That sucks. I mean, I would hate to feel tired all the time. But sleep serves as kind of an energy balance. There's an energy equation there. It reduces daily energy demand, so things are just less hard, and it conserves your energy stores. So when you're sleeping, you just don't have to work as hard as things. It is basically what it comes down to. And if you have that negative kind of energy balance, it contributes to weight gain. It also just makes things feel harder. As I said, like your exercise is going to feel harder when you're sleepier. And it also affects the ability to conserve energy, and it actually makes you feel colder. And then finally, one that we're really interested in is just the hormone changes that lack of sleep can impact. And that's all those hunger hormones. So insulin makes you less insulin sensitive, increases ghrelin, which is your hunger hormone. So again, if you haven't heard me say this, grrr, you think ghrelin, that's going to make you hungry. And then leptin is your satiety hormone. So it makes you less leptin sensitive as well. So you'll just be hungrier and less satiated in general when you're not getting improving your sleep. And that's just a random selection from my Aura Ring. I just took a screenshot to kind of show you. It shows the patterns of sleep. So on that night, I got 7 hours, 12 minutes of sleep. Deep sleep was around 2 hours, which is great. Light sleep, 3 hours. REM sleep around an hour and 13 minutes. So usually in the beginning part of that night is when you get your deep sleep. And then you're going in and out of light sleep, REM sleep is what the typical pattern is. So I just kind of wanted you to get a feel for the different patterns of sleep, because we're going to jump right into this with this slide. So the stages of sleep. There's really 4 stages of sleep. So one is being awake. You're actually awake some parts of the night. You usually don't even really remember that you're awake. You have light sleep, and then you have your deep sleep or your slow wave sleep, and then your REM sleep. So the really important ones that you want to make sure that you're getting enough of is that deep sleep, slow wave sleep, or that REM sleep. So typically sleep by scientists is divided into REM and non-REM sleep. So that deep sleep, as I mentioned, is the sleep you get kind of typically, not always, in the beginning part of the night. That is the sleep that you're going to, like, when you nail that, you wake up refreshed and restored. It's because that's when your body is actually repairing itself from all its physical work. It actually doesn't, include the brain as much here. We're talking about more the physicality, the repair of cells, tissues, organs, all of those things happen. Growth hormone, which is very critical, is secreted during this deep sleep, about 95% of it. And that's going to be doing its repair work from your exercise during the day. Also, melatonin and testosterone are secreted as well. And those are all kind of anabolic or repair hormones that you're going to be secreting, but growth hormone typically during sleep, deep sleep. So getting that deep sleep is critical to waking up feeling refreshed. I know when I look at my Oura Ring and I have a good, deep sleep, and typically I love to see 2 hours is when I feel the best. Then you have your REM sleep. That's all about your brain. So your REM sleep is when you are going to consolidate your memories, get rid of irrelevant information, and kind of create that clearer thinking for the next day if you get a lot of REM or dream state sleep. So this is kind of the image below I actually took from the Whoop website to show you kind of how they show their stages of sleep and the average time spent in each of these stages. I actually tend to be a little different, where I tend to get more deep sleep than REM sleep. I don't often remember my dreams is another thing. I always blame my poor long-term memory on the fact that I never slept as a kid, because again, in that REM sleep is when you're consolidating those memories. And so without that, it's really hard to kind of remember things and clarify. So I've become much better at that, but I think for many years I wasn't doing that because of my poor sleep. So that's the stages of sleep. So tips to improve deep and REM sleep. Again, those are the stages that are really critical. So a lot of these overlap. So there's not, there's some that are unique, but most overlap. So you want to follow that circadian rhythm. And that's just your normal, like waking early morning, going to sleep around 10. So I usually say waking at 6 a.m. and going to sleep at 10 p.m. is typically the ideal because of the melatonin secretion. I realize there are different chronotypes or people that, prefer to sleep at different times. I'm just talking from a purely hormonal perspective. It's best to kind of capitalize on that, where your cortisol is lowest in the evening and higher in the morning to get you out of bed. And melatonin is higher around 10:30, and then lower in the morning and it stops being secreted. So following that circadian clock, and not only that, but having a consistent sleep and wake times. So when you interfere with that and you're kind of changing that up all the time, deep sleep tends to be impacted. Getting exercise during the day is going to help you sleep deeper at night. I know when I've had a tough workout, I tend to increase that deep sleep because my body needs the repair. So getting that good workout during the day. Another practice I've been trying to include is taking a warm bath, shower, steam, hot tub, whatever you may have in the evening about 90 minutes before bed, and then getting your body all nice and cozy and warm, and then jumping into a cool bedroom to sleep. And the cool bedroom is important too. Eating a nutrient dense diet, and particularly a blunt sugar stabilizing diet throughout the day, sleeping in a dark, cool room, avoiding that nightcap drink, because, while many people think it makes them fall asleep, it actually contributes to poor deep sleep and arousals later in the day, later in the evening. Creating a relaxing bedtime routine. REM sleep. So practicing, again, that sleep consistency, going to bed at the same time and waking the same time. So really trying not to vary much from weekends to weekdays. spending more time sleeping. So the longer you sleep, actually the more REM sleep you tend to get. Blue light blocking glasses in the evening. So that blue light actually does tell our melatonin to stop being triggered. So in the evening, if we're looking at blue screens, our phones, our TVs, our computers that have bright blue screens, our melatonin is stopping production in that pineal gland. So we want to make sure that we're wearing blue light blocking glasses or turning our computers on to night shift mode. And then, creating that relaxing routine before bed, whatever that may be, a nice cup of tea, reading a book, or watching a calming show. REM sleep, similar things, practicing sleep consistency. And then supplementation. So supplementation of magnesium is a great one I've found to help with optimizing sleep, both deep and REM sleep. And then early morning sunlight. So getting that circadian rhythm established first thing in the morning. And I kind of have an image there of the circadian pattern and what is happening at the different stages of sleep. So let's try and maximize those deep and REM sleep times. The downside of poor sleep, truly there is so much that can happen with lack of sleep. So even one night, there's many studies that show that one night of poor sleep really impacts insulin sensitivity, meaning that our cells are not able to uptake insulin. They're a little more insulin resistant, meaning higher circulating blood sugar. Eventually that could lead to metabolic syndrome or weight gain. So definitely want to watch that. Obesity rate increases, probably because of that whole pattern of increased cortisol, increased insulin, increased calorie consumption. So when you're tired, you're typically consuming almost 400 more calories a day. And you probably experienced that. I know I have. Poor injury recovery. Immune system dysregulation, more apt to get sick. I know you see this all this time, especially in kids. Whenever my kids used to go on a sleepover and they'd come home, they'd usually get sick the next day or two. Sleeping less than 6 or 7 hours doubles the risk of cancer on a regular basis. So if you're consistently shortchanging your sleeps to 6 or 7 hours, that can contribute to increased cancer risk, higher risk of Alzheimer's, dementia, stroke, and then also contributing to anxiety, depression. So yeah, sleep is truly the glue that holds us together mentally and physically. There's usually 2 main issues with sleep. My issue when I was an insomniac was typically number 1, which was sleep onset insomnia. I have mentioned before, I was, tend to be a type A, was a worrier. I'm not as much as I used to be, but still not perfect at that. So I typically mentally aroused at night and have a hard time getting your brain to shut off and calm down. So poor sleep hygiene could be a contributor to that. Again, late night staring at screens. If you're staring at your screen, reading your phone and then just put it down and expect to fall asleep, it's just not going to happen. If you have a lot of emotional stress going on, mental, that's definitely going to interfere with sleep. In Chinese medicine, this is kind of heart issues that may be contributing to poor sleep. Cortisol issues. Cortisol is your stress hormone. You need a little bit to fall asleep, but too much is, increased stress levels is also going to keep you awake. So kind of that balance there. Pain, if you're in a lot of pain, restless leg syndrome causes people to stay awake. Issues with circadian rhythm control. And if you've been on all day, again, if you're like racing throughout your day and expect to just lay down and fall asleep, it's just not going to happen. You need to have that calming time at night. So tips, do a mental energy dump before bed. Maybe have a notebook where you can just write down everything you're worried about and kind of just either address it then or say, I'm going to address this tomorrow. Meditation is huge. I think that was my saving grace in terms of getting my brain to calm down. I do sometimes, even if I wake up, I'll do a meditation in the middle of the night. Getting your hormones checked, making sure that cortisol is in balance. And then early morning sunlight, again, to set that circadian rhythm. And then waking up during the middle of the night. So, this is usually when people are waking often between 1 and 3 o'clock and unable to go back to sleep. Sleep apnea is a huge cause of that, where you're, not breathing and you're stopping actually breathing during the night. Mouth breathing, so breathing through your mouth versus the nose. I did actually a little hack for that. I don't know if you can see this, but mouth taping. Have you ever heard of mouth taping? So mouth taping, actually, it sounds like a health fad, but it actually has been proven to work because you're supposed to be breathing through your nose, and when you're breathing through your mouth, you're increasing inflammation. increasing snoring. If you're taping your mouth, you're going to increase nitrous oxide production in your sinuses, reducing inflammation, causing deeper sleep, lower blood pressure. So that's a tactic that some people can do, is to start taping their mouth. It's a little weird at first, but you can get used to it. If you're stuffy, that's a little bit of a struggle. And that's why people often breathe through their mouth, is maybe food sensitivities, allergies are causing them to mouth breathe. So fixing those and maybe trying a little bit of mouth taping. Hormonal imbalances definitely can wake you up. Blood sugar dysregulation. So if you are, your blood sugar is crashing around 1 or 2 o'clock after having kind of a higher processed carbohydrate meal or a late night drink, that is definitely going to arouse you from that deep sleep. Parasites. So this is one, people think is weird, but if you're arousing during like a full moon cycle or in the middle of the night, it could be the parasites, because that's when they tend to come out and play. So you might want to get that checked. And then toxicity. So between 1 and 3 is when your liver is working hard to, detoxify your body. And again, if you have a high toxic load, that is going to maybe arouse you in the middle of the night. So tips, again, you could try the mouth taping. Really fun. You can look into that. CPAP machine. Most people think that CPAP machine, is going to, be a nightmare, but for many it's life-saving. So looking into that. Blood sugar balancing, making sure that your blood sugar is stable by eating a nutrient-dense meal and not highly processed sugars. Watching that nightcap. Hormonal testing, and then parasite cleanse if you feel like that might be an issue for you, which it is for a lot of people. Sleep hygiene, additional sleep hygiene. So making sure you put that phone to bed at a certain time. I really try not to look at my phone much past 8 o'clock. Having a calming evening routine. Again, maybe taking that warm bath with my favorite is an Epsom salt bath with a little lavender oil in there with maybe some candles, about, an hour to 90 minutes before bed, and then making sure your room is cool. Getting that morning sunlight to set that circadian rhythm, wearing blue light glasses at night to protect your eyes from those blue screens. Same thing with the lights in your house, should all be dimmed after the sun goes down, or a yellow spectrum, orange yellow spectrum lights. There's really receptors for melatonin all over our body, not just in our eyes. So if we have a lot of like little blue lights in our room, or little cracks here and there, just know that even if you're wearing a sleep mask, that light is going to interfere with you. So trying to get your room as blacked out as possible. No late night eating. Again, try and avoid eating a minimum of 2, hopefully 3 hours before bed, so you can be completely digested, so your body can work on repair and cleansing while it's sleeping instead of digesting food. We don't want it. We don't want it to kind of miss out on that opportunity to really cleanse your body. No caffeine after noon. Practicing daily detoxification so that toxic load on your liver is not going to be waking you up. Getting enough exercise during the day, and then supplementing appropriately, which I'll talk about that a little bit in the group, the supplements that kind of helps me to sleep again. So that's just kind of typical sleep hygiene. And, it goes without saying that those are really critical things, and can make a huge difference. So that's Sleep Week. We'll dive in this week. If you have any questions, ask a former insomnia expert. I am now the queen of sleep. Let's just see. I'm just going to prove to you, because I didn't even check my Aura score. Let's see what I got. I know I slept well because I was at the Dells all weekend and probably didn't sleep well there, but there we go. 93. So I'm almost always in the 90s when I'm on my game in terms of sleep. So you can make fun of me all you want, but I'd prefer to wake up feeling refreshed and energized and ready to start my Monday. Cheers to your health. Let's crush week 4. Hope you guys are enjoying, and it's been a fun program, and I look forward to seeing you in the group. Take care. Bye-bye.